Part 3. Conceptualization of conflict. Conflict is defined and explained, as we discussed in the previous part, by different scholars and writers. It is one of the duality that exists, as we mentioned. Conflict is a struggle over values and claims. According to Coser, scarce status, power and resources, competition to gain objectives, to neutralize, injure, or eliminate rivals are actions assumed as conflict. It is also a prolonged composition of collision. It is an act of striking together, fight, clash, competition. So, let's delve into the detail of conflict. According to Coser, conflict is a struggle that emerges from differences in values, claims, scarce resource, status, and power. It portrays as it is a complex interplay of competing interests, where individuals or groups strive to achieve their objectives, even at the expense of neutralizing or eliminating rivals. For John Wilkes, conflict is a prolonged collision or opposition between mutually exclusive impulses, desires, or tendencies. Conflict is controversy, disagreement, and competitive behavior within interpersonal interaction. This definition emphasizes that conflict often involves a battle for dominance or advantage within relationships. Gove gives the following definition of conflict. He emphasizes its physical and emotional aspect. Gove views conflict as an act of striving together, a fight, a clash, or competition arising from opposing or incompatible forces. Additionally, Gove emphasizes the emotional states that conflict is characterized. This perspective of Gove acknowledges that conflict can stem from incompatible inner needs or drives of similar intensity, as well as engagement in a contest. These different definitions of conflict highlights its multi-layered nature, ranging from struggle over values to scarce resources, power and status. Understanding these various aspects of conflict is crucial for comprehending and analyzing its implication in the course of conflict resolution and peace building. For Galtung, conflict is a tragic construct that involves attitude, behavior, and contradiction. Attitude is perception or misperception of parties towards self and one another. Behavior refers to actions and measures that parties take in the pursuit of their desired goals. Contradiction is the actual or perceived incompatibility of goals between parties. Firstly, when we see what Galtung said, Galtung argues that conflict can be understood as an attitude. This refers to the way individuals or groups perceive and interpret differences or opposition. Attitudinal conflicts arise when individuals hold contrasting beliefs, values, or ideologies that lead to a clash of perspectives. For example, religious conflicts often emerge from differing religious attitudes and interpretation of faith, where one group's beliefs are seen as incompatible with another's. Secondly, Galtung emphasizes the behavioral aspect of conflict. This refers to the actions, practices, and strategies employed by individuals or groups to pursue their interests and goals. Behavioral conflicts involve observable interactions ranging from verbal disputes and debates to physical confrontations or even warfare. For instance, conflicts between labor unions and management often involve strikes, protests, and other forms of organized collective action to advance workers' demands and protect their rights. I think you have seen one in your area or your country. Lastly, Galtung highlights the role of contradiction in conflict. Contradictions exist when there are fundamental incompatibilities or tensions between different elements within a social system. These contradictions can make or manifest in various ways, such as conflicting economic interests, competing political ideologies, or disparities in power. A classic example of a contradiction-based conflict is the class struggle between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, where conflicting interests and power dynamics between social classes lead to tensions and social unrest. To further illustrate Galtung's framework, let's consider a contemporary example. In the context of international relations, you can take the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the Yemeni-Houthi conflict, or others, which can be analyzed through Galtung's lens. From the attitudinal perspective, parties involved may hold deeply rooted beliefs and narratives about their rights to a given territory or land and national identities, leading to a clash of vision and perception of the conflict. In terms of behavior, the parties involved in a given conflict has witnessed or can witness a range of actions, including diplomatic negotiations, military operations, acts of terrorism, and peaceful protests. These behavioral manifestations reflect the pursuit of opposing interests and the use of various strategies to assert dominance or secure self-determination. Regarding contradiction, parties involved in a conflict is rooted or might be rooted in the fundamental contradiction between their claims to a given territory or resource. This contradiction includes issues such as land ownership, sovereignty, security, recognition, the rights of self-determination. By examining conflict through the lens of attitude, behavior, and contradiction, Galtung provides a comprehensive framework for understanding the complexity and dynamics of conflict. This approach allows us to analyze conflicts from various angles and consider the interplay between subjective perceptions, observable actions, and structural contradictions that underlie conflicts in international relations. Characters of conflict. Conflict, as we described earlier, is a complex phenomenon that can be analyzed from different perspectives. Here are the key characters. Let's see them one by one. 1. Social character within social interaction. Conflicts occur within the realm of social interactions involving individuals, groups, or societies. They emerge from disagreements, contradictions, and clash of interest that arise in the social context. Conflicts are influenced by social, cultural, economic, and political factors that shape the dynamics of the conflict. 2. Structural character. Conflicts are embedded within social structure, systems, and institutions. Structural factors such as inequalities in power, inequalities in resource distribution, and inequalities towards access to opportunities often contribute to emergence of conflicts. Understanding the structural context is crucial for comprehending the root cause of conflict and the dynamics or the chains of conflict. 3. Universal and natural character. Conflicts are inherent to human interactions and societies. They are a natural consequence of diverse interests, values, and perspectives. Conflicts can occur at different levels, from interpersonal disputes to international conflicts. The universality of conflicts highlights their omnipresence in human societies. 4. Dynamism. Dynamic character of conflict is about the changes that come over time. Conflicts are not static. They evolve and transform over time. They can intensify, de-escalate, or even become resolved through negotiation, compromise, or structural change. Conflicts are also influenced by changing circumstances, shifting power dynamics, and the actions and the decisions of the involved parties. 5. Constructive character, serving as an engine of social change. Conflicts have the potential to bring about positive social transformations. By highlighting injustices, power imbalances, or social inequalities, conflicts can trigger calls for reform, social movements, and advocacy for change. They can lead to the emergence of new ideas, policies, or systems that better address underlying grievances. 6. Destructive or dysfunctional, harmful, and damaging character. One of the character of conflict is it is being destructive or dysfunctioning. Conflicts can also have these negative consequences. They can result in violence, destruction, and human suffering. When conflicts become protracted or escalate, they can undermine social cohesion, impede development, and exacerbate societal divisions. Though conflicts can lead to human rights abuses, displacement of population, and economic hardships. 7. Inevitable character. Conflicts are an inevitable part of human existence. Whether you like it or not, conflicts can occur. As long as societies exist, there will be differences, disagreements, and tensions that can lead to conflicts. Conflicts arise from a variety of sources, including competition for resources, ideological differences, or cultural clash. 8. Evolutionary and escalating character. Conflicts can evolve and escalate over time, moving from mild disagreements to intense confrontations. Escalations can occur as parties become more entrenched in their positions, emotions intensifies, or external actors are involved, or external factors exacerbate the conflict. Understanding this evolutionary nature of conflict is very necessary and significant, as well crucial for effective conflict management and resolution. 9. Violent and non-violent character. Conflicts can manifest both in violent and non-violent forms. Conflicts can manifest both in violent and non-violent forms. While armed conflicts and warfare may gain significant attention, conflicts can also be expressed through non-violent means, such as protests, strikes, or diplomatic negotiations. The form that conflicts take is influenced by various factors, including the nature of the grievances, the strategies employed by the parties involved, and the broader societal context. So, by understanding these various characters of conflicts, students and practitioners can analyze, manage, and seek solutions to conflicts in a more informed and comprehensive manner. It enables you to grasp kinds of conflicts, the characters of conflicts, and their implication for societies and international relations, and fosters a deeper understanding of the potential for both positive and negative outcomes that conflicts can bring.